We got Jeremy Stevens, Little Heathen, back here on the program. He's going to be taking on Jose Aldo at UFC on Fox 30 on July 28th. Jeremy, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Feeling good.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Now, what did today bring to the table? Did you have training this morning, strength and conditioning? What does today look like so far?
Just some good training and just tightening everything down. You know, more simply, just get into the game plan and just executing all the things that I have going on and what I see, coming out into the fight.
And we'll talk about the fight in a sec, which is really a great matchup. But first, I wanted to talk quickly about UFC 226. Of course, Max Holloway was out of his fight with Brian Ortega, and I understand there was an opportunity potentially of you fighting Brian Ortega. Take me through that whole process. What happened there as far as the potential fight offer, and why didn't it end up happening?
Just got a call, random on a Wednesday night. They told me pretty much, just stay ready, that I was next in line if anything was to happen. Getting into fight week, I'm like, okay, nothing's really gonna go on. They just have light training, make sure they're cutting weight and everything should be all good. So I don't really think much of it. And then we get a call Wednesday after my second training session, which is like later in the evening, and saying, hey, Max is out. Didn't really know or ask why, and you're fighting Brian Ortega. I was like, all right, sweet. So I went on a run later that night. It was 4th of July night. And, fireworks were going off. It kind of reminded me of the movie Sandlot. I'm just out there running. Fireworks are going off. I'm thinking night game. So I take off running. And then, I was talking to my coach, who happened to be, he was sick. He had like a bad sinus infection. He ended up going to the hospital. He was bedridden. And he wasn't even going to be able to make it out there. So I ended up going over to his house, and he's like, yeah, man, you're fighting Brian Ortega, blah, 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 blah. And I ended up, like I said, going out running that night and didn't hear anything back. I heard from Sean. He's like, yeah, I'd love to have you out there. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm just going to go ahead and cut weight out here. I'll fly out tomorrow. 1 in the morning, my coach is blowing me up. He ends up getting a hold of my wife, and I hear, hey, Brian's out of the fight. You're fighting Frankie Edgar for the interim title. I was like, all right, sweet, no problem. Go right back to bed. I didn't really sleep much. A lot of stuff was just kind of going on, running through my head, just trying to tell my brain, shut the fuck up. We'll just handle everything in the morning. I got up in the morning. I started another run. I ended up running for like an hour and a half and crushed out a bike workout for like another 30. So I was well under 159, 158 pounds, and I was going to head out to Vegas and was looking good. Later on, I get a call like after that run. I'm like, man, what's going on? They're gonna fly me out. What's going on? They're like, oh, fight's off. Neither or Brian or Frankie wanted it, and it was a win-win-win. Really, if you look at it, I have a opportunity in front of me here, July 28th. There's a chance for me to either fight for an interim, make a shit ton of money, and knock somebody the fuck out, or I look at it like I just got a chance to lose some weight and get ready for my fight. So it was really not really a big deal. I just took it as a plus.
So that hasn't affected your cut at all, because I mean that's crazy that you had to think you're fighting on a couple of weeks ago, and then out of nowhere after two options nothing pans out.
This is what I do, man. I fight. This is what we sign contracts for, is to fight. I don't really understand. It's a new era out there. I don't feel like there's not too many guys like me in the sport, and unfortunately that kind of sucks. But I'm ready to fight anybody, anywhere, anytime, and just prove to the point that I'm one of the baddest motherfuckers on this planet. And I guess they don't want it. This is the third time this kid's ducked me. Fighting Frankie, he wasn't ready, and his family told him no. I'm here to fight. And I look at it like, hey, I have an opportunity to paint Jose Aldo on the canvas and make sure that I'm undeniably the number one dude next in line. When people sit around, they wait, they get pushed to the side. The company doesn't really like that. You sign contracts to fight. Regardless, we're in the same division, we ain't going anywhere. Fight. That was your best chance to beat me. It was without a coach and having to dehydrate myself on a little bit drastic weight cut. Down the line, you're fucked.
So after your last fight, you get that big win over Josh Emmett. Were you expecting a fight like this against Aldo? Did you have an indication that you were going to get a big matchup like this?
Yeah, of course. Emmett's number 4. You take out a guy, and then you go on a dominant win streak like I've been going. Your only way is up. So it's right there for the taking. I'm looking. 100% of my focus and time's been training for July 28th. That I'm fighting whoever July 28th, and I'll put myself in an undeniable situation.
Second year in a row, you're fighting in Alberta, Canada. This time you're fighting in Calgary instead of Edmonton. Did you know anything about Calgary before you took this fight?
It's a little bit higher up in elevation, and you know what? I love Canada. The Canadian fans are awesome, and looking forward to going there and crushing somebody in Calgary.
Yeah, and I was going to say, last time it treated you well. You got that big win over Gilbert Melendez. That was a great victory. But let's talk about Jose Aldo. He's coming off a couple losses here. Granted, they're against Max Holloway. How do you feel like you match up against him here?
I feel like I match up really well. I'm a nightmare matchup for that guy. He doesn't move like a guy who points. Aldo he likes to fight, but unfortunately, he's getting old and he's on the decline. You look at his face, it's drooping. He's taking a lot of damage in his last fights. With that being said, I know he's coming off those 2 losses. He's looking to make a name for himself. I want 110%. Aldo showing up, and if I give my 110%, it's gonna be a nightmare for him. So I'm looking for a great matchup, looking for a fist fight, and I'm ready to get it on. I'm tired of all the bullshit, the cut and weight. Is really all we got to do. I'm ready to scrap.
And let's talk about training camp at Alliance. Have you kept things primarily the same in terms of training partners and coaching and everything like that?
Yeah, I got a great team over at Alliance. We got up and comers that are beasts that I feel like would smoke a lot of the guys in the UFC. I got veterans in the pocket. I got world champions, and most of all, most importantly, I have a phenomenal coach, and I have a great set of coaches and people around. And just where my mind's at, where I really feel like in my life right now, I'm in a good spot, and I'm looking to just go out there and give the people. Give them my all, give them my heart, give them my mind, and leave it all out there on the table.
Was there anyone specific at Alliance that you used that kind of mimic Aldo, or do you just sort of focus on what sort of you're good at?
I focus on me. I let my coaches worry about all that bullshit. I do me, bro. I don't watch any tape. I've seen enough of the guy fight. I've seen him fight live. I've seen him on TV plenty of times. We've both been around the sport. It's not hard to find each other. And it was only a matter of time until we ran across each other. And now at this particular time, I feel like the edge pulls more towards me and where we're both at in our careers and where we're headed.
And you talked about having to cut weight a few weeks ago. I imagine, is the cut better than it would be at this time, or is it about the same where it should be heading into this fight next week?
I've been really active as of late, ever since like last year. So my weight's been down, it's been low, and I definitely would have made weight 226, and it's even better now. I've been able to eat a little bit more and get by and be happy around this time. Normally around this time, I'm a little bit more moody and having to cut weight, but I feel great. I mean, I can make weight this week if I had to. So we're just ready to go, man. I mean, there's really not much else to say. Just go in there and perform.
And when are you getting to Calgary?
I'll take off on Tuesday.
Okay, great. And who's going to be in your corner for this fight? Obviously, Eric, your coach,
Same
will
OGs,
be in there.
man. Same OGs. Ain't shit changed.
Yeah, yeah. If it's working, you got to stick with it. How do you see this fight playing out on the 28th?
I see me just doing a lot of damage. Me putting him on the canvas, or me just fucking him up for 3 rounds. I see me going in there giving 110%. Like I said, man, I do that. I'm a nightmare matchup for this guy. He's taking a lot of damage, a lot of brain damage. You look at his face, it's sagging. And he's in for a nightmare, man. Trust me. I'm gonna be like Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street.
I like that. Has the UFC given you any indication if you win this fight, what will happen next? I know the division's on hold right now with Max Holloway, but is there any talk of a potential interim title like they were offering you back at UFC 226?
I don't really care about all that. That's not my focus right now. My focus is whooping another Brazilian and putting him away, painting him on the canvas any way that I can to get him the fuck out of there. And it's time to move on. And then whatever's next, I'll be talking to you shortly after that.
I know you're a big baseball fan. Obviously, the Padres are playing right now. Have you got to catch any games this year? Been able to go to any live, or you just watch a bit on TV at all?
I don't play games and I don't catch games around this time, my man. I'm not in this play games. I'm like I said, my focus is clearly on Jose, and that's it, man. My family's out of here. You know, they're back in Iowa enjoying some family time back there, making sure that they're having a good time, and you know, Dad's sacrificing that so that you know, we can end up having a better time after this fight. You know, this is all I care about. I told you guys at the beginning of the year that this is gonna be my $1 million year. You know, I'm already more than halfway over it. So you know, this fight's really gonna. I think this fight's really, you know, I feel like I never really get the credit I deserve, but I think putting out Aldo and putting his lights out, you know, people are going to be talking about me for a long time, and you know, that's what I want. I want a dominant performance. I want him to show up and give me his all. I want to take his soul. I'm going to take his life.
Last question before I let you go. You got a bit of a plane ride to get to Calgary. I know it's not too far, but what do you like doing on the airplane aside from trying to sleep? Are you a podcast guy? Are you reading a book? What would I find you doing?
You probably see me slamming some water and reading a book, you know, and just getting up and pissing a lot.
Okay. Or what? Anything good that you're reading right now?
That Make Your Bed book, you know, by that admiral who you know, did that speech about making your bed.
Okay. Interesting. So you like that stuff, history stuff, you know, kind of motivational stuff like that?
I like anything, man. I'm a big geek. I like ancient aliens type civilizations. I like Tony Robbins. I like real shit, man. Real stuff that's either gonna intrigue you, inspire you. I don't read any fiction or none of the bull crap. I like the truth, man. I like to go out there and seek things positive, motivational, anything just inspiring, or anybody who's ever done anything from the bottom to build a business, to build their brand. You know, I'm always seeking ways to better myself, and I get that more through books than just sit back and watch television.
Is it tough to find time to read, you know, being a father and having everything else going on with training and everything like that?
No, I travel a lot. You know, I like to make sure that, like, I'm reading to my kids. I read their books. They read a lot. You know, so you know, we do it all around here. You know, it's just a good time. You know, I don't ever put any set things or a set pattern. You know, if my kids need something, they're my first priority. You know, if I have time to relax, I relax. You know, and you know, I just piss and shit like everybody else does, man.
Excellent, man. Well, we are looking forward to this fight. It's UFC on Fox 30 coming up here next Saturday, July 28th. Jeremy, I really appreciate the time. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours.
Just look at it, man. Little Heathen MMA right here. Here's my new shirt. Check it out. You know, Little Heathen MMA, not hard to find on all social media, Facebook, whatever. Jeremy Stevens, PH. And thank you. Thanks for the time, man. Thanks for the platform. I really appreciate it, James.